Okay, for this lesson, I'll show you how to simplify radical expressions. Alright, let's say we have radical 72, right? The square root of 72, and I want to simplify this. And we're going to do this without a calculator. Alright, so we're going to break this down. You want to take the 72 and think of what two numbers will, if you multiply the two numbers, will give you 72, and try to pick one of the numbers to be a perfect square. Right, so radical of what two numbers will make 72? I'm gonna pick 2 and 36. Right, 2 and and 36. Right, I'm not changing the value of the number 72 because 2 times 36 is still 72. But the reason I'm doing that is because now, right, so we have the square root of 2 times the square root of 36. And it's okay to rewrite what we have here. Right, we start off here and we wrote it like that. So we split the radical sign to make it two radicals, right? So the 2 times 36, now we have radical 2 times radical 36. So it's okay to do this, right? It's fine. Alright, so now we can simplify further, because now radical 36, if you look at radical 36, that's a nice number, right? Because radical 36 is just positive 6, right? So we have this one here, this becomes just the number 6, right? And then radical 2 will just bring that down, right? So we put radical 2 times the 6. But it's easier to write it out like this. Put the 6 in the front, right, and the radical 2 after, right? So we started off with the square root of 72, also known as radical 72, and we went all the way and simplified it without a calculator, and our final answer is, or our simplified answer is 6 radical 2, right? And if you plug both numbers into a calculator, you're going to get the same answer. Alright, so let's delete that. Now let's try another example. Right, let's say we have square root of 48. Right, that looks promising. So now we have to think of, alright, what two numbers will, when you multiply them, or the product of those two numbers, will give you 48. Again, here's the radical, and I'm thinking of two numbers. So let's see, maybe 3 times 16 perhaps. Alright, that might work. Alright, 3 times 16. Alright, 3 times 16 is 48, so we're okay, right? It's okay. So let's make a little smiley face here. It's okay. Alright. And then now the reason we did that is because now we can split this, right? Actually, let me change the color. Right, we can make this into two radicals, right? One being radical 3 and the other being radical 16. Right? So now the reason I did that is because, well, radical 16 comes out nice, right? The square root of 16 is just 4. Okay, so now we can write our final answer. Let's do it over here, right? We have the 4 in the front, right? That's from this here, and we have the radical 3 afterward, and this multiplies, so radical 3 after that. Right, so this is our simplified radical. We started off with radical 48, which is this one here, right? and we simplified it and rewrote it as 4 radical 3, right? And again, if you plug radical 48 and compare it to 4 times radical 3, it's the exact same number. Alright, what if we have the expression negative radical 200? Alright, so we're thinking of two numbers. Right, there's a negative in the front, so let's put that negative there. Right, we're thinking of two numbers that we can split the radical or the radicand into, right? So it's 200, so I'm thinking of 2 times 100, right? Again, it's 200 as the radicand. I just rewrote it, but now I can split this, right? So the square root, so this equals, let's change the color here, so we have a negative sign there, and then we have the square root of 2, and then we have multiplication, the square root of 100, right? So you can see that the square root of 100, that's just 10, right? And radical 2 stays the same. So now we can rewrite our final answer, right? So it'll be, I'll put it over here since I ran out of space. It'll be 10, right? That's the perfect square here, and then times the radical 2, right? That's this one here, and then don't forget the negative, right? So that's our simplified radical there, right? So negative 10 radical 2 is the exact same number, right, as the original one, which was negative square root of 200.